Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and podcast, Youth Like You. It's good to have you back. And it's actually good to be back because it's been a while since I posted anything. Hopefully you checked out my previous video, which is a little bit of an announcement of saying what things are going to look like from now on for hopefully not too long. Yeah, hopefully not too long. Let's get into what we came here for, which is continuing our study in the book of Genesis. And hopefully you're not getting tired of hearing me say that. But you got to understand, Genesis has, and let me double check here. I think it's 40, nope, 50. I was going to say 50, but I wanted to make sure. There are 50 chapters in the book of Genesis. That's a lot. And there's a lot of verses to be covered. And we're only in chapter 9. Actually, we're going to be kicking off in Genesis chapter 9, verse 18, going all the way down to verse 29. And as you know, generally I read from the ESV version. If I'm going to be doing a different version, then I will let you know by hopefully letting you know, saying, okay, I'm switching to the KJV, or we're going to be doing the TPT, or whatever. So, and if you just happen to be reading along in your Bible and it's a different version, it doesn't matter. Honestly, it's completely fine, completely fine. But this here is Noah's descendants. So as you know, flood happened. They were on the ark. Finally, they came off the ark, and now we are seeing the sons of Noah who went forth from the ark were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And in parentheses, it's showing Ham was the father of Canaan. Apparently, that was important and interesting to note. I do not have understanding of that at this moment, so we're not going to go trying to figure that out. There were three sons of Noah, and then there's Noah and his wife, and this was the whole population of the earth. The entire world had with them only Noah and his wife and his three sons and their wives. What's that? Eight? No, a little bit more than, yeah, eight people. Eight people. And Noah began to be a man of the soil, and he planted a vineyard. He drank of the wine and became drunk and lay uncovered in his tent. Ham, the father of Canaan, saw Ham, the father of Canaan. Here we see it again. It's no longer in parentheses, so apparently it was not needed to be in parentheses anymore. Saw the nakedness of his father and told his two brothers outside. Shem and Japheth, they took a garment, walked in backwards, covered their father, so that they wouldn't see his nakedness. Noah, after he wakes up from his little snooze with the wine, and he hears what his youngest son had done to him, he said, "Cursed be Canaan. A servant of servants shall he be to his brothers." He also said, "Blessed be the Lord, the God of Shem, and let Canaan be his servant." Shem was the eldest. Verse 27, may God enlarge Japheth and let him dwell in the tents of Shem, and let Canaan, I think I'm saying that right. Forgive me if my pronunciation is wrong. Let Canaan be his servant. After the flood, Noah lived 350 years. All the days totaling of how old Noah was a total of 950 years, and he died. Okay. I've always found this part very interesting, very intriguing, that the youngest son didn't have respect for his father, that he looked upon his father's nakedness and then went and blabbed it to his brothers. But the older two, they respected, they went in to cover their father, but they walked in backwards. They took the garment and just, somehow walked backwards, like probably watching where they were walking, but not looking at their father, and they covered his nakedness. And well, something that speaks to me here is that we need to respect our parents. And it doesn't matter if you're the oldest, you're the middle, you're the fourth child, fifth, or the youngest. We are called by God to honor and respect our parents. Some people Nowadays I hear like, oh, he's the youngest, I mean, I'm a little lenient with him, but the eldest, oh my goodness, no, I require so much from him. We are not to show favoritism, for one, and two, we can see that every here God is saying, I hold all of them accountable for their actions. I don't care if they're the youngest. I'm not going to be like, oh, you're the youngest. You know what? Go ahead. It doesn't matter. But to the eldest, no, I will require so much from him. So I want us to think about that. No matter if you are the only child, the second child, like I was saying, doesn't matter. You are called to honor and respect your parents to, you know, cover up their shame. If something happens and you see your father or your mother or both of them do something that exposes them, don't go and blab it to other people. Don't expose their nakedness, but go with love and cover it. Love covers a multitude of sin. It doesn't mean that I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna pretend, mom and dad, that you guys didn't. No, 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 no. It's not that kind. It's the kind that sees they're human, they made a mistake, but I'm going to choose to forgive and I'm going to love them and I'm not going to keep bringing it up in their face. You guys, this time, I cannot believe when I mean, oh, you know, love covers. Love doesn't keep bringing it up and shoving it down their throat or pushing it in their face. And I think that is what God wanted us to understand in part. I think there's other ways that God can speak to us in these scriptures, but this is what's speaking to me. And probably it's because of where I'm at in my life, because I'm still someone who lives with my parents and who, even if I didn't live with my parents still, I'm still called to honor and respect them. And so, regardless of my age, regardless of being whatever the oldest, youngest in my family, which I'm actually an only child, so I'm a little bit of everything, but we're called to honor and respect our parents. And then Noah awoke from his slumber of wine. This too is interesting because he put himself into a position where he became exposed. And I think we need to be careful that in what we are called to do, we don't make a foolish decision that almost corners us and we end up being naked before someone. That wherever we are in the ministry, in our school, college, in our work, in the home, that we move forward in wisdom. Noah became a man of the soil and he planted a vineyard. There's nothing wrong with that. He drank of the wine, which obviously wasn't wrong, but became drunk, so he had too much of it. He went in excess of what he was supposed to have and lay uncovered. I don't know what happens when you drink wine. I don't drink wine. That's my conviction. I probably am guessing that that amount of alcohol probably just made the body feel really hot. And Noah is like, it's hot. He's in this state of not really understanding what is going on. He makes a decision and he's just like, we don't got AC. I'm just gonna let the wind just come all over me. Yeah, I think we need to be careful. We need to be wise that even when we are in the calling that God has for us, even when we are in the place that He has put us, we are not exempt from making mistakes. It doesn't mean automatically everything is going to be perfect. It doesn't mean we're going to be perfect. It means we are in the place that God has us, and we need to be watchful and vigilant, as scripture says. Vigilant, which means we need to be alert and awake and not be in a drunken state, not just be like, oh, it's so good. I'm feeling good. Everything's fine. Nothing bad's going to happen, because something can happen when you're not watchful, when you're not vigilant. Things can happen. Now, I'm going to stop with that. I don't want to get into anything more because, like I said, there's different ways that we can receive from God with this. And that's what I'm feeling. That God is speaking to me and I want to share with you. And then Noah, realized what happened, and then he curses the one and blesses the others. And this is also important because even when we make a mistake, if other people take advantage of that, God will deal with us on a personal level, but He's also going to deal with the people who take advantage of our moment of weakness, take advantage of our moment of exposure, our moment of vulnerability. God will hold them accountable and He will reward them according to their actions. And by God's grace, we want to have people in our lives who are going to help us, who will come in and will not look at our shame, but will cover us with love, who will help us. And you might be thinking, but this sounds like you're talking about if someone committed like some type of sexual sin or whatever. I mean, this is applicable for all things. I'm not here thinking like, oh, if you fell and you committed fornication or adultery. I'm just thinking about in general with things in life. We want people who will support us and help us and talk to us in love and tell us, I know this happened and I want you to know that I'm here for you. I will help you in what you need. Let me know how I can help you, that kind of thing. We don't want people who are just like, oh my goodness, girl, did you hear what happened to Cynthia? I mean, it's just so horrible. I can't believe I never thought her capable of it. You don't want those kind of people in your life. And then, it says that to be servants. So Ham was the one who committed the act of shame, of sin, of seeing his father exposed. And it says here that when Noah awoke and heard what his youngest son had done, he cursed him, but he cursed his son, his grandson. Noah cursed the son of Ham. A servant of servants shall he be to his brothers. And it's like, why would he curse his grandson? He wasn't involved. But it's because what we do has consequence and effect on the people that we are around, on our family. Okay, do I want to go this way? Because it's something that we're more familiar with, let's talk about when somebody commits adultery. It it affects the children. It affects the spouse. There are some people who they don't want to maybe allow their daughter or their son to date the son or daughter of that that man because they heard what happened. They're like, if the father did it, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Well, a better example would be someone who steals, who has been known, the man has stolen and been in jail countless times, and then the son doesn't want that to affect him, but sometimes some people find out at his job and somebody's like suddenly like, I don't trust this guy, and it's like he was not involved, it was his father, but what the father does or did affected the son, and because of that people were like, oh, can we trust him? I mean, the son of a jailbird, I don't even know if they say that nowadays, but that's the idea. What we do affects other people. And I still don't really understand the full context of Noah cursing Canaan, but there is a way to look at it as what we do affects the next generation. And I think that if we're going to come away with anything, that we are going to then come away with this, that our actions have consequences. And we need to be aware that even a missionary, even a pastor, a leader in the church has to be vigilant, has to be watchful, has to be sober. In fact, here's something interesting in oh, what is it? Timothy. Yeah. Timothy, when they are choosing the deacons, let's see here. Sober. There we go. In First Timothy, a bishop. or I think another word for that can be deacon, because today we don't really say bishop. In First Timothy chapter 3, verse 2, in the King James Version, it says he needs to be sober. He needs to be sober. In the ESV version, it says sober-minded. Interesting. We are called, even as children of God, to be sober. Listen to this in Titus chapter 2, verse 6, King James Version. Young men likewise exhort to be sober-minded. And this is just young men. What about women too? This is, yeah, and it's talking about for us too as women. We are to be sober-minded. So I hope that what you come away from today's episode is that you are made aware that we need to be sober-minded. We are not exempt from battles and difficulties being in the perfect calling of God. We have to be vigilant and watchful. We have to love people. And sometimes that means covering a multitude of sins, not shaming them and exposing them to the world, but covering it. Not being a person who goes and blabs it to everybody. And also realizing that our decisions and choices have consequences. They can be good or they can be bad. Usually when we think about consequences, we think about it in a negative way. But our actions always have a result. It always produces something. And we want our actions to produce something good for the people around us and for the next generation. So thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. This has been Camry on Youth Like You. Until next time, bye.